is going to present the most enlightening webinar for all the aspirants who have plethora of ambiguities regarding studying in Canada. We take pride to present you Mr. Rajbir Khurana, who is an erudite member of ICCRC. Mr. Rajbir Khurana has a rich experience of 13 years as a designated immigration officer. He has made thousands of decisions regarding accepting and rejecting various student visa profiles. He specializes in student visa cases. This video will not only enlighten you with new information but will also clear all the misconceptions related to studying abroad. This video is a recording of our live online webinar.
People who would actually get their education from Canada but move to greener pastures in US, because most of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the US border. So the policy with the Canadian government always has been to take a lot of migrants from other countries, which brings in good people with great knowledge, with a lot of skill set, and that sort of bridges the gap between the worker requirement in Canada and the population. Like, if I don't know if some of you might have noticed, it was in the newspaper last year, there was a negative population growth in Canada. So why the negative growth? Because there were not enough births in Canada, and the people who emigrated out of Canada were more than the people immigrating to Canada. So Canada always has been looking for new immigrants, and because they are looking for new immigrants, that's where the category student and workers comes in. So it's been like, I've had the good fortune of being with many of the previous the ex-immigration ministers of Canada, and during their discussion they've always said that it is Canada's policy now that in the coming year most of its skilled worker population, the skilled worker immigrants, would be the people who are already in Canada as temporary resident workers. So what is temporary resident worker? Somebody who has been working in Canada. And like most of you would be aware, the one golden thing that you get with the student visa is an opportunity to work after you complete your education. So there are two kind of things that you can do if some of you are fairly new. First one is that you get an opportunity to work 20 hours per week during your study if you're studying in a public college or public university. Even if you're working in a private college, you still have an opportunity to work 20 hours per week. However, there is a restriction on people going in for language courses where you don't work for 20 hours per week. That is the first part. The other part is called the PGWP, Postgraduate Work Permit. So if you study in Canada for 1 year, you're eligible for a 1-year postgrad work permit. If you study in Canada for 2 years or more, then you get a 3-year work permit, which is called PGWP, Postgraduate Work Permit, which allows you to work in any stream that you want. And this is capped at 3 years. So even if you have studied there for a bachelor's degree of 4 years, doesn't mean you'll get a 4-year open work permit. You would still get a 3-year open work permit. That is the restriction. And most students and most people who get on the temporary resident stream, the temporary worker stream, would tend to work for 1 year. After having worked in Canada for 1 year, there's a specialized program under which you can qualify as a permanent resident. It is called CEC, or Canada Experience Class. What is happening now is it is becoming extremely difficult or increasingly difficult for people to directly qualify for PR of Canada, because there are more number of people applying. There has been a moratorium for 1.5 years during COVID times, wherein there were no draw of lots for skilled workers. So that is why the express entry program was stagnant for a year and a half, and now when they have opened up, the cutoff score is extremely high. So nobody from India would qualify unless you have studied or worked in Canada, right? So that is the primary charm why most of the people would go to Canada as a student. I see many mature students also who have had 5, 10 years of industry experience now entering Canada as a student, putting their foot into the door, and that is because they have no other means of qualifying to go to Canada as a PR. So this is one important thing which everybody has on their mind, which most Indian students have on their mind, and this is one charm that they have, that ultimately it will be study, work, and settle in Canada. That is that is a very important thing which people have considering student visa to Canada. But this is, I would say from my experience, this is not the only opportunity that you get when you go to Canada as a student. Canada compares very well as vis-a-vis other European and Australia and UK and North American countries as far as the education standard goes. So you get a very good standard of education, and it is not costly. Believe me, if you compare it with the other country, it is comparable, or in some cases, it is cheaper than other countries. So, one, you are in a country which I can, from my experience of 25 years being a citizen of Canada, can assure you that it is one of the safest countries in India, safest countries where Indian students or any student from the world can go. There is no racism. There is no like you do. They people don't look at you as if you are from a different planet. They would welcome you. They are friendly. So safety aspect is one, and most of the Canadian Canadian citizens from big cities and even otherwise, they happen to be either immigrants themselves. Many of the ministers are immigrants, so there's 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 never a chance that somebody talking to you has never met an immigrant or never met a person from another part of the world, or they have friends who are coming from different parts of the globe, and so on and so forth. So people are really friendly. Education is not too costly, and it is a good standard of living that you get in most cities at a reasonable price. So these are the factors which contribute to the Canadian market being one of the top student destinations. Another thing I would like to point out is that uh, there are some institutes which would really stand out and would give you a international edge. So they are among the top ranked world universities. Uh, just to name a few, like if you know of the business school in York University, which is called the Schulich School, it's ranked along with Harvard and other B schools, like top 10 always. University of Toronto, University of British Columbia, Concordia, University of Ottawa. So there are n number of universities which have a very good standing in the like the world ranking. They are very well recognized, and once you pass out from there, you get a very good you get a very good campus placement, and ultimately you end up working with top-notch companies like Google or Tesla or other companies. Plus, one other advantage I personally feel that you have is that you are in hub of North America. So even if you intend to be employed in US later on, if you had if you have had your education from Canada, it would be recognized in US, and they would never ask you to get a equivalence. Let's say if you are from Australia or from UK, they might ask for equivalence, or they might not recognize it at par or same as their education. But US and Canada are like one and the same thing. It's like it has open borders similar to that of India and Nepal. So being a Canadian citizen, you can actually move to US back and forth. You can work there. You don't require a visa to go to US. As a PR, you require a visa to go to US, but not as a citizen. If you hold the Canadian passport, you don't require a visa to go to US. So coming to the Canadian education system, the schooling is almost the same as that of India. Most students would join school at the age of 6 years, and not at the age of 4.5, 5. 4.5, 5, they go to like pre-kindergarten, and then they start their education. And they have 12 years of schooling education. First 5 6 years till grade 6 or 7, they play it very cool. The students don't have to do any homework, or they play it very cool, and thereafter it increasingly becomes difficult. And by the time they're in high school, a very good standard is required from them. So most local students would drop off after grade 12 high school. So after their high school diploma, and it is considered a good education if you have had a high school diploma, they would drop off some for a couple of years, or they would earn the money and then go to their first year bachelor's or second year bachelor's, because unlike Indian students, they do not have any, or they have very little support from their parents as far as the education goes. Most of the education is supported by the loan that they take, or they work for a couple of years and then they join the graduation. Similarly, for post graduation, they would wait for a few years, and then they might do the 2 year post graduation degree in 3 years or 4 years by taking a small amount of credits or half the credits, or doing summer schools. So that is as far as the university education goes. Now, some people might have question about university and colleges. So let me clear one thing up. Unlike in India, wherein a lot of colleges would conglomerate together and would be associated with the university, in Canada and in North America and other parts of the world, university is totally separate from colleges. So a college would be a college. It has the capacity to grant certificates, diplomas, or in some instances, bachelor's degree on their own. And the universities would be such that university would have different schools attached to it. Like it would have a B school, business school. It would have a let's say medicine unit associated to it, or a law school associated to it. But they would not have colleges associated to it like we have in India. Like a lot of colleges would be affiliated to Delhi University, but if you compare Delhi University with University of Toronto, University of Toronto would not have any colleges associated with it. It would just be a big campus with different faculties, different schools attached to it, different names attached to it. And universities are huge, and the law says that once a college has been there for like 25 years or more, and it becomes too huge, it can become a university. Just to give you an example, when I immigrated to Canada, Ryerson, there used to be a college called Ryerson College, and over the years it became Ryerson University in Toronto. So in Greater Toronto area, there's a university called Ryerson University. It used to be a college and it has become a university now. So So the way you can go is either as an international student, you can go to the college to complete your 1 year, 2 year, 3 year program. Very few colleges offer a bachelor's degree. In most cases, it is a 4 year bachelor's degree. In few cases, it might be a 3 year bachelor's degree, which a college can impart. But mostly it would be diplomas, advanced diplomas, or a advanced diploma of 3 years. If you are moving towards Vancouver side after completing your high school, then it would be called as associate degree. So it is normally called associate degree of arts with specialization in, like, although it would be called arts, but it could be associate degree of arts in science, associate degree of arts in psychology. So it's a 2 year program in which you go to Canada, do that 2 year program. If you do well, then there is a chance that you can take a lateral entry into the third year into any university. The fees in college, ballpark fees for international students is about 17, 18,000 Canadian dollars per year. For local students, the fees is about one third of this. And the college, the universities, the fees varies from anywhere between 20, 30,000 to even 50,000 per semester, not per year. So it can go up to 100,000 per year for some good university. So the education in university is expensive, especially at the undergraduate level, where you are supposed to do a 4 year undergraduate degree as compared to a 3 year undergraduate degree in India. Right. So undergraduate studies are expensive. Thereafter, like if you've done your 3 year bachelor's degree from India, you would still be eligible to go in for a postgraduate course, which is normally called a graduate certificate course. So graduate certificate course means anything which you do at postgraduate level. It could be 1 year, it could be 2 years. There are very few programs which are of 3 years at post graduation level. And then there are PhD programs or specialized programs. But most students would either go in for a 1 or 2 year program at undergraduate level after their high schools, or for a 1 or 2 year program after their post graduation. Then there are MBA programs. Good universities would ask for at least 2, 3 years of experience, industry experience, for you to be able to qualify and get into the MBA program. So this is basically for the Canadian education and how things go. And I'll briefly touch upon the visa processing and how things are processed in for the Indian caseload. So Indian caseload happened to be the second biggest a couple of years back, but now India is the number one source country for Canada. So Indian students would be, you would find maximum number of Indian students, and which far exceed any other country. So China is a distant second. Then there are Philippines, Pakistan, UK, blah blah. Like all the countries combined would not, like they would not be the same as the Indian numbers. There's so many people from, so many students from India who go to Canada as a student, right? Mostly would be undergraduate student. I would say 60 to 70% are undergraduate students, but the number of postgraduate students and number of mature students is increasing day by day, and their numbers is getting increased from 30%. So they, a lot of mature students now want to go to Canada with the ultimate aim of becoming a PR and citizen of Canada. So uh, uh, these are the Indian caseloads. And if you are aware of the term, now 80% of the applications would go under thing called SDS, Study Direct Scheme. This is a program which was started a few years back. Let me backtrack some years back when we were processing student visas. So there were two problems. First problem was that people uh, did not know what documents to give. So at one point in time, 15, 16 years back, the student files that the Canadian High Commission At that point, they were in paper file format. It would be like at least 5-6 kilograms of paper that people would provide. Not only would they give the educational document, they would provide all kind of financial documents. And despite all this, the refusal rate was extremely high. Up to 80% applications were refused because the High Commission was not confident enough that the financial documents that they were providing were good enough. Most of them were coming from farming background in Punjab. And even now, 80% of the Indian caseload is from Punjab, about 10-15% is from Gujarat, and rest of India contributes only 5% to the caseload. So because of that problem, there was a program which was instituted, which was called SPP, Student Partner Program. What this Student Partner Program was started with, the intention was that it would be a thin down file which would have just 5-10 documentation, for 10-15 pages of documentation, and that's it. Instead of a 500-page file, we would have a 10-page file, and we would process it within a matter of 7 days. That was the commitment given by the Canadian High Commission. So the requirement was you should have given the IELTS exam. So that took care of the English language requirements. Previously, people who had 80% on their CBSE or Punjab School Board, even they could not, once they were at the port of entry in Canada, they could not speak a word of English. So the problem was, in CBSE or Punjab School Board or Gujarat School Board exam, you are good at writing, but you cannot speak. So it was decided that the student has to appear for the IELTS exam and score with a band of 6 overall, with no band less than 5.5. That is what we started with. Second requirement was to pay one semester fee. Like, you needed to pay half year or one semester fee. Third requirement was that you should buy a GIC. GIC is guaranteed income certificate, which is, you can consider it like a specialized kind of fixed deposit for 10,000 Canadian dollar with a Canadian institute. So these were the three requirements. The program started off with a bang, and High Commission was able to approve or refuse the file within a matter of 7 days. But slowly, everybody started getting six with 5.5 bands, and they were able to pay the 6 months or one semester fee, but still they were not good students. So after a few years, this program was modified into the present form, which is called SDS, Study Direct Scheme, in which now that benchmark for English language has been increased to 6 overall with no band less than 6. So you need to require 6, 6, 6, 6 in all 4 bands of IELTS academic module. Second thing is, instead of one semester fee, you need to pay 1 year fee. And the third requirement, which was the GIC, remains the same. Now, having told you about the two programs, let me tell you, in Canada, immigration is a law. So like in India, criminal and civil are two laws. In Canada, criminal, civil, and immigration are the three laws. If, as an immigration lawyer, I want to contest a case, I can go to Superior Court of Canada. I can fight it out in the Supreme Court of Canada, so to say. So the judge will be the same. The judge needs to know the immigration law the same way as he or she knows civil or criminal law. So it's a very important thing. And the Bible for it, or the rule book like Indian Penal Code, is called IRPA, Immigration, Refugee and Protection Act. So every refusal approval will be according to Immigration, Refugee and Protection Act. All the immigration officers need to pass a certain exam in which they'll be qualified to approve or refuse the file, and the delegation comes from the immigration minister. So they have a special number, and by law they can approve or refuse the application. And as a lawyer, you can, as a Canadian lawyer, you can challenge any decision if you think it is not fair. Okay, so now, having told you about IRPA, SDS and previously SPP, they are not laws. So what it means is that uh, they are not law means if you have a 6 across the board, if you have $10,000 GIC and if you paid the 1 year fee, even then the officer can refuse your file because it is not a law, it is a guideline. So guideline means the officer is guided by those guidelines. But in present times, we are seeing applications with 6.5, 7 also being refused. They meet uh, every box of SDS requirement and still they get refused. So this is just a guideline. So don't be like I see a lot of people in the market saying, "Oh, why did my application get refused?" Or like, "What happened?" And some agents saying, "No, no, the Canadian High Commission has gone mad. They're refusing every file." So this is not the case. The officer would find something which he or she doesn't like. They will go by IRPA, Immigration, Refugee and Protection Act, and do not find you to be a genuine student. And the refusal reason almost always would be purpose of visit, which is section R216. So if it is R2161B, it is purpose of study. And as you go down the law, there would be financial implications. So the officer can refuse your application on financials. So you would ask that if there is a SDS program where they're asking for 1 year fee and $10,000 GIC, why are they refusing the application? They might refuse their application because this is just covering 1 year of your studies and 1 year of your stay. If they feel you have a very weak background and in the next years, like your 2 year program or a 4 year program, especially a 4 year program, you should have enough funds for the other 3 years. The officer might overlook it and might grant you a visa, or the officer might not be in a good mood and they might refuse your application if you've not provided enough future future opportunity for you uh, to show that this much funds you can get. So the funds could be your parents ITRs or ITRs. Like, what is the future potential of you getting that money in the next year? Where people make mistake is that they would show their income tax return as 2.5 3 lakh rupees a year. So the officers are trained enough to know that 2.5 lakh rupees is about 3,000 4,000 Canadian dollars. When you are sending your student out to study where they are paying $17,000 fee and $10,000 as living expenses approximately for 1 year, and in all you just earn $4,000 a year in India, equivalent to 4,000 Canadian dollars, they are unlikely to approve your application. So one has to be very careful on the funds also. And then there are a lot of nitty gritties like your program not making sense, or your program being redundant. Let's say somebody has already done a master's degree going in for a postgraduate program, and after 5 7 years of being in the industry, those kind of students might be refused. Nowadays, many refusals that we are seeing are if your individual course or subject scores are less than 60 or less than 70. So a lot of refusals there also. So this is as far as the background on Canada student visa and Canada overall, and the present profile goes. Now I think I've spoken enough, and I can take your questions. Like it, like you can give little specifics or ask any specific question, but I would want you to be still be considerate of others, so that if others would also be benefiting from that question, it will be better. So if you ask a general question, so to say, it will be little better. And specifics, if we have time, we can take the specifics with your percentage and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'll just open up the house now, and any questions that you have, I'll be happy to answer that.
Thank you, Mr. Khurana. I will request all the students, please unmute yourself, and one by one, if you have any query, any questions, any specific case or profile you have, you can ask Mr. Khurana and you can get the answer from him. Yes, Sulekha, I see that you have some question, I believe. You can ask.
Yes. I want to ask regarding the medicine field over there.
Sorry, your voice is not audible. We can barely hear you. Can you please speak up?
Okay. Yes, yes. I want to ask about the bio courses over there, biological sciences.
So, Sulekha, what kind of like are you asking about undergraduate programs or
Yes,
postgraduate
yes.
programs?
I am asking for the undergraduate programs
Okay,
over
and
there.
are you asking about specifically studying medicine in Canada?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So, Sulekha, unfortunately, the medical courses are extremely expensive for international students, and even otherwise, even for the local students, the courses that like you need to understand that if you're in North America, it takes you good 10 years to become a doctor. Like doctor means in order to practice medicine, it would take you about 10 years from when you start. Most students would do bachelors of sciences 4 year first, then they would take admission into medicine. Medicine is extremely costly, it is extremely competitive, and it would set you back by crores. Having lived in Canada, I can tell you many of my friends and their kids, like uh, like students who wanted to become doctors in Canada, they are actually studying out of Canada. Like even the local students, they study out of Canada because it is little less expensive and they can do it little quicker. So I would suggest that if you're looking for medicine courses, uh, uh, like unfortunately it might not be feasible unless you have loads of money and you're ready to spend like many years. However, there are many other courses which would be useful to you if you have studied biology as a subject, or it could even be a bachelor's of pharmacy, or it could be, which is a 4 year program. It could also be something to do with biotechnology, or there are n number of courses there. But medicine per se, personally speaking, I find it to be a difficult choice from India. I've hardly ever seen any Indian student going from India and doing medicine in Canada.
Like, I have another query. Like, if a child does his integrated bio BTech and MTech for from biotechnology, will he
Okay.
be, yes, he wants to do MS over there, then what will be the scenario?
Sorry, what do you want to do after this integrated program?
Yeah, for MS, like it's about
Okay.
MTech Biotech is done from
Okay.
India.
Okay. So, ma'am, if you ask me, doing another master's, uh,
Yes,
your application might get refused because of the course being redundant. Because you have an integrated program, if you say you want to do a MS after MTech, unless it is specialized, unless it is a MS by research, or unless this MS is into a different stream. Let me give you a different example. Somebody who has done BTech and MTech in computing here gets MTech or MS into computer sciences, chances of the person being refused are very high. If the same person, by the way, gets a specialized Masters of Sciences degree into, let's say, cyber security or data analytics or artificial intelligence, then the chances of approval are high. So
okay,
you,
like
it should
what
not
will be considered?
overlap.
Okay, like about MS in biotechnology only. The
Y-
person has done MTech for
And what
biotechnology.
was the integrated program in biotechnology?
Yes.
Yeah, then it might be difficult, one, to get admission, and second, to get approval. Both the things would be difficult because you cannot explain the reason why you have a master's degree from India in exactly the same subject, and you want to do a different, you want to do the same subject masters all over again.
So can we
Uh,
apply for the PhD directly there?
yeah, you can apply for PhD directly. Getting into PhD is like, mostly the PhD programs are not offered through like the educational consultant, or it is like you personally campaigning to the dean. So it is like you approaching different universities and asking them for a PhD program. So, and you have to follow up with them. Very few PhD programs are formal in nature. So it's like, depends on, they are so informal, they can start anytime. They can, let's say Montreal, a lot of people go for PhD program because there are a number of guides available. So you have to get in touch with the department, and you have to get in touch with the person who agrees to become your guide or mentor. And normally they approve. Like, the problem with the Indian educational degrees is almost none of the master's degree is by research. They give preference for a PhD program to people who have either done yet their masters by research, or people who are very proactive and they have had 4, 5, 6 publications to themselves. So if you have
Yeah.
published a few papers, then the chances of you qualifying for a PhD, and with a good recommendation letter, 3, 4 recommendation letter, then you stand a good chance for PhD.
So we need to work hard our own for
Yes,
preparing
yes.
all these
For the
LORs and
PhD, Afghan might be able to help you out, but as far as I know, PhD, there are no PhD programs which are on offer by the universities. It's the candidate who directly himself or herself campaigns for it.
so do you think there is a scope for biotechnology? If like it is integrated, there is option like we can go for biotech for BTech, and integrated means you can skip that year for masters, and after BTech you can
Y-
apply for MS over there. So which
Yeah,
will
so
be better?
which year, it would depend on. So see, one thing you have to be sure is, even if you're skipping the years, you must have a degree to show them. Just showing them transcript will not help. If you skip the masters, get a bachelor's degree. From what I understand, many of the integrated programs can give you, they give you 2 degrees, bachelor's and master's. They do not give you bachelor's alone. But if there is any possibility that you can get a bachelor's degree just by itself, then you can apply for a master's program. Then no issue. Then you can show them the transcripts, and even the Canadian High Commission, you show the transcripts and your bachelor's degree,
Okay.
and you
What type?
say that I did not do my master's because I prefer to do it in Canada.
Yes. Okay. The other thing, like, do you think there is a scope for biotechnology right now in
Absolutely.
Canada?
There's all, biotechnology has always been in extreme demand before also, and even now also. It's a
Like,
evergreen field. It doesn't go very high and never drops down. There's always a demand for biotechnologists, pharmacists, anything which is a registered profession, like and a professional course is always in demand in Canada.
okay, so like there is an institute, Amity University. So we need to see that will that be recognized over there?
Sorry, your voice was cutting off. Like, what is recognized?
Yeah, there are some institutes like Amity University of Technology. So we need to make sure that it will be recognized for higher studies over Canada.
Yeah, you can,
How
if any university or college in India is, you can search for it on Association of Indian Universities. If it is associated with any recognized university, it is recognized in Canada.
okay, okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Sulekha ma'am. Now, anybody else, if you have any query, any question, you can ask right now. Agar,
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
yes, yes, Preeti, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Fine. Sir, I am a parent. I'm not a student, and I wanted to ask about Bachelor of Pharmacy. Is it mandatory to have mathematics in class 12 for getting admission into Bachelors of Pharmacy?
There are some universities who would insist on it, but Pankaj can help you better in giving you the requirements. And even if it is a mandatory requirement, what happens is if the child doesn't have mathematics at high school level,
Yeah.
then they might give the child admission with a condition, like with a note saying that he or she needs to do maths 101, like which is basic mathematics, like grade 10, grade 11, during their first year of studies there.
Okay, fine.
So it
So,
might be a possibility that you might be able to get without the child having mathematics in their high school.
okay, but the child needs to provide that mathematics during this course. He needs to do that.
Uh, Most universities, I believe, would insist.
Okay, fine, fine. And for further processing, we need to contact you people only for this if
Yeah,
we'll go further.
Pankaj would be able to help you out.
Okay, okay,
Sure,
okay.
ma'am. We will
Fine,
help
fine.
you with that, ma'am. And we will look for the options with maths and without maths, both as per your profile,
Actually,
ma'am.
he has done his class 12th with 95% marks, that too with the medical stream from CBSE only. But he don't have mathematics in class 11th and 12th. Till 10th, the mathematics was there.
Yeah, so chances are they might consider grade 10 mathematics if it is 70 plus. Or,
It is 95 in
yeah,
grade 10 mathematics,
so
sir.
perfect. Like there is a possibility. Rest Pankaj will be able to tell you better.
Fine. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
And
And it would be a bachelor degree for pharmacy over there.
Yeah, it's a 4-year bachelor degree, same as from India.
Okay. And the same processing would be for masters to if a child wants to pursue after bachelor's.
Yes.
So what are the job perspectives and what are the benefit of doing pharmacy from Canada? If you can help me out.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in pharmacy from India before I left India, but I never
Okay.
made use of bachelor's in pharmacy. I have a degree from Delhi University, but
Okay.
a lot of my friends who had done the bachelor's of pharmacy and did their masters, and even if they had done their bachelor's of pharmacy and they have equivalents in Canada, they're all like multi millionaires in Canada. I wish I would have used my pharmacy degree as well, because like pharmacists are much in demand, and they for after first few years of working as pharmacist at one or two places, like that too they earn like about, in present terms, about 150,000 or more. Then they open up their pharmacies, and most of them have multiple pharmacies, like unlike in India where new pharmacists are not considered as good. There in Canada, just to get one tablet, so the tablet costing 1 cent, every tablet, like every one dispensing. Let's say you're taking six different type of medication. Pharmacist would at least get $11 per dispensing, so $66 for six medicines that he has given me, and he does nothing. He dispenses so many. So pharmacists are like they are extremely well paid and very well revered, and
Okay.
it's a
Thank you.
very good cause. Like
Thank you
even
so much,
I,
sir. I would like to continue further. I'll ask your representative to contact me
yeah,
further, sir. I would love to hear about it.
yeah, sure.
Fine. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So there's a question by Shreyas Patel. How many chances to get study visa with 13 year of academic gap for my wife who has completed her GNM nursing? She has 12 years of clinical experience in multiple multi-specialty hospital with bank statement. She has 6 band with each 6, what are the chances of her getting a student visa in a government funded college or university for a 2-year diploma such as palliative care or critical care? Okay, so the answer to this is that I would say overall profile is good. I've sent many nurses for similar specialized courses. The only one drawback that I see here is that in order to cover up for 12, 13 years gap, whatever your wife has, 6 academic band overall might be too less. In present circumstances, I'm seeing even 6.5 being refused. Ask your wife to appear for the IELTS exam again. I would prefer that she scores a 7. If she has a 7 and she has been working as a nurse, the chances of approval become very high. With a 6.5, good chances. With a 6, officer might not consider that very favorably. Okay, so improve the IELTS and we can send her for advanced healthcare or advanced. There are different palliative care or other like special need care or ICU or critical care. So those ones she would be able to qualify, but I would prefer that she improves her IELTS score, because even at undergraduate level now they're looking at 6.5 overall, and she's had a graduate degree and has years of experience. So 6.5 is the bare minimum I would say she needs in order to qualify. The other thing would be her high school and GNM nursing diploma courses, like the score should be 65-70%. No score should be less than 60%, because we are seeing a lot of refusal in core, so the core score subjects being less than 60%. Okay, anyone else?
Maths is required for this course, sir.
Sorry,
Mathematics
no,
is-
no. The courses that you're talking about for your wife, mathematics, as far as I know, it's not required.
Okay,
Some
thank you.
college may ask for it, and it would, with a 6, she would not qualify for any university. Moreover, these courses are mostly in colleges, so I would say it would be a college that she should prefer. Another course that you can consider is the international bridging courses, like uh, courses for internationally trained nurses.
Mhm.
That is one course where the chances of she getting admission and getting approval becomes high.
How many bands required, sir?
See, whatever even the colleges require 6.5.
Or bridging course?
Oh yeah, same 6.5 with no band less than 6.
In which college or province, sir? The bridging
Yeah,
course
there are
available?
hundreds of them. Pankaj will be able to tell you better, but there are like you name it, there would be like 50 different colleges. So we can't be specific. Once you have your profile, then Pankaj will be able to help you.
Okay, sir. Send Pankaj number, sir. WhatsApp number, sir.
Sure, Mr. Patel. I have your number. I will share you all the details, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Nice talk. Bye.
I have another query, sir.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I want to ask, like, for the medical students from India, what are the best options right now from Canada
So
for bachelor's?
medical means grade 12 they've done, or like
Biology with grade 12.
with biology. So see, either the child, if the child is going towards Vancouver side, then they can consider associate of arts degree in biology or associate of arts degree in whatever stream that they want. If they are going towards Greater Toronto area, then 1-year course would be a diploma, 1 or 2 year course will be diploma, and 3-year will be advanced diploma. So they can consider those diplomas, but there are n numbers. Like it will depend on your choices. It's not possible to say what are the good courses, but uh, anything like there are n number of options there.
No, like for biotechnology also you can
Yeah,
choose on that.
biotech. See, if you want to go in for undergraduate biotechnology, then you can choose biotechnology, bachelor's degree in biotechnology.
So what will be the scope? Like what kind of job will you can get there?
Ma'am, lots of jobs. This is going beyond the scope, but believe me, once anybody has done a 4-year bachelor's degree in biotechnology, there is no end to the jobs that you can get, and it would be in a pharmaceutical company or a biotechnology firm, or even with the government or with the sovereign government.
So
So,
pharmaceutical except biotech, or I
sorry,
think research based only.
so
Pharmaceutical, like she can go for the pharmaceutical also.
yeah, so would depend on, see, all these things would come in when you tell us what is the score of the child, what is the grade 10 score, what is the IELTS score. Only then, see, we can, this is all like we are thinking about it, what will happen. These are theoretical things. Once
Yes.
you give us the scores, then Pankaj will be able to tell you these are the colleges, universities that they are eligible to go in, and then you can make a choice from them.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Suparna.
Hi, sir. So my question is like, recently my visa got rejected.
Mhm.
Okay, and they have mentioned that I'll not come back to India.
Yeah.
Now, as per my educational background, I have
Mhm.
like 70% in my 12th.
Mhm.
That was science, and then in my bachelor's, I did information technology with specialization as cyber security, and my
Okay.
percentage was 93%.
Which university?
Stratford University.
This is, you did it from India or
Yeah, I did it from the Indian campus.
Indian campus? Okay. And
Now,
now, what were you going in for?
I was going for PG diploma, and that was again in cybersecurity from Lambton College.
Okay. So need to look at your, like, you can send the documentation and we can look closely. There have been a lot of refusals, but prima facie, what I like, I don't see anything, any major issue in your application. Only thing could be you haven't explained how, like they might be thinking that you already have reaped the benefits of having studied cybersecurity and now, did you have any previous refusals? Any other country?
No.
This was your first application to
Yeah.
Canada.
Now, what
And
has happened is I would like to give you a little more information.
Mhm.
So, first refusal for Canada happened for same college. Okay,
Mhm.
for the same intake. First refusal came in February. Okay.
Okay.
Then second, again, my consultant, they reapplied. It's same
Mhm.
again in SDS
Mhm.
category, and
Mhm.
everything, all the documents were same. Just they made some change in the SOP and they applied. And again, it was refused. But this time they haven't given any specific reason.
Yeah, this
So
time the refusal reason is coming. The your purpose of visit is not in sync with the temporary resident thing. Now
yeah,
that's the,
something, yeah,
yeah,
something like
that's the
that.
new line. Okay,
So
so we
what I
can.
did,
Hmm.
I'm really sorry to interrupt.
No, no,
So
no. But,
what I did is I applied for Cape's note
Mhm.
so that we can actually get to know why my visa was rejected.
Mhm.
Now my question is, first question is, now my IELTS is going to get expired in July 2023. Okay.
Mhm.
So would you
Okay.
suggest that I should give IELTS again and then apply, or would you suggest to continue with the same IELTS?
What's your score on IELTS?
My score was 7, no less
Yeah.
than 6.
If it's expiring in 2022, you need to give. Otherwise, there's no need to reapply.
No, it will expire next year,
No, there's
2022.
no need to reapply.
Okay. And second thing, now that recently again my visa got rejected in June, so now there is a gap because I was working, then I left because the classes had started,
Mhm.
and still my file was in process. So now there is a gap. So to cover up that gap, should I go ahead with a small or sorry, not small, short-term course? Will
Yeah,
that be
you can.
okay?
Yeah, if it is in sync with what you're doing, and especially if it is an online course, you can go ahead with it. But otherwise, short natural gaps in studies are fine. They should not be. They understand it. The only thing is, once you get your GCMS notes, then, and especially the second refusal, we would like to know exactly what is happening, and then we can go with the rebuttal. And like numerous cases, we got approvals after second or third refusal. After two refusals, like I have dozens of examples where we got approval. But exactly GCMS notes is what I need.
Okay, and one more thing, like if I apply for masters now, will that be a plus point, or again they will
I would say, like, see, had you been this like changing your goalpost? You have applied twice to Lambton, and suddenly you want to go for a master's program. Unless it is exactly the same thing, cybersecurity, it is with Concordia or with,
yes, with Concordia.
yeah.
I was
So
looking for Concordia.
yeah, so if,
Montreal.
yeah, like, although you would have changed your goalpost, but if it is perfectly in sync, similar, go for Concordia and get your GCMS notes, and we can help.
So can Pankaj help me with Concordia once I have the GCMS notes?
Sure, Suparna, sure,
Yeah,
we can.
he'll be able to help you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
welcome. Yeah, Shreyas Patel.
Yes, sir. If we and my wife visit Canada, visit on visitor visa, so and then any employer hire my wife as a LMIA nurse aid NOCC category. There is any chance for PR in PNP?
Yeah, first thing, do you have tourist visa?
Yes.
Okay, your tourist visa, you can go there and try. I'm telling you, normally doesn't happen like this, that you're going there and somebody is hiring you on LMI. LMI is a long drawn process. Like if somebody hires you, you work there for 1 year, theoretically, you become a PR. You become eligible to apply under Canada Experience.
And which province?
Any
Which?
province. It doesn't matter. You qualify under Canada Experience class.
Okay. Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Doesn't matter. But thing is, it is a very long drawn, it's a long short thing. These are theory questions that we are asking. First thing, if somebody hires you for 1 year, then you don't even need to qualify for PNP. You qualify under CEC, Canada Experience class. So there, any province you can go.
I am government employee, sir. So what are the chances for my visitor visa?
Yeah, you're still to apply. Yeah, that I can't say. That's another thing. The chances of your visitor visa will depend upon what is your salary, how many countries have you gone to. There are n number of factors there. It's not as simple as student visa. Student visa is still simpler than tourist visa. Tourist visa, there are 1,000 different.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Anybody else, if you have any question, Miss Purvi Modi, अगर आपका कोई क्वेश्चन है आप पूछ सकते हैं मैम.
No, sir. I have no questions.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
No, sir. I have no questions. No.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Anyone else having any questions?
Sir, I have a question. Hello.
Sorry, sir. Your voice is not audible. There's lots of disturbance.
His voice is audible now.
It is little bit, sir. Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to ask about the authenticity, about the work permit visa in Canada. There, I see so much such advertisements in Facebook. for 2 years work permit like this. They are advertising mostly from Chandigarh, New Delhi, and things. What that genuinity and how to trust that this is true or not, how to know or this can be really happen, like they are doing this kind of work permit visa. The government of Canada is allowing this, or uh, all these things I want to know. Is it?
Okay, so this is beyond the preview of this session, but since you asked it, let me tell you that 9 out of 10 times or 99 out of 100 times, these are fake things. The law says nobody can charge even a single penny from you to get you a LMIA work permit in Canada. Most of these agents are either in Gujarat or some are in Mohali or Chandigarh or Jalandhar or some even from Delhi. If you visit them, ultimately what we hear in the market, they charge as much as 30-35 lakhs. If they will start off with very small amount, 25,000 rupees for you to register, 50,000, they'll say 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs. And every day on an average, I get about 25-30 calls where people are duped by these agents. I've hardly seen anybody going to Canada. There might be a few who have paid 30-35 lakhs, and I met few people in Canada who have gone there. But as far as 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 7 lakhs goes, I can give it to you in writing that you are likely to lose your money.
Okay.
Government of Canada says no agent in the world can charge 1 cent from you, $1 from you to get you a work in Canada.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Okay.
So these people are just preying upon your intent to go to Canada. Every day, like I see, they say, yeah, go and get your medical done from here, and the medical is fake. You pay 8,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees, pay for registration, so on so forth.
Okay.
So 99.9% these are fake. The rest is up to you. My 2 cents to you is you will lose your money.
Okay.
If you go to these agencies in Mohali, just last week I had a group of 7 people from Uttar Pradesh who had paid 11 lakhs each. They paid 11 lakh rupees. They were going to Mohali. They deposited their passports and it was in a big bungalow. And suddenly there was no board and nobody there. Now their passports are also lost. So be very careful if you go to these institutes where a counselor who's paid 10,000 rupees a month, she's telling you that you'll go to Canada. Why doesn't she go to Canada? Why can't she? The owner of that place would not have visited Canada. Why can't they go to Canada?
I used to think this way.
Yeah, so you have to first go to CICC, registered AIRCC or IRCC, Google it, then search for their number. Are they registered immigration lawyers in Canada? If they are not, don't even deal with them.
Okay.
And there are hardly any immigration consultants who are working actively in India. I believe only 3-4 are actively working in India. Rest are, they are saying we have a collaboration with Canada, but ultimately you will lose your money.
Okay. So another question about the education. So I'm a physiotherapist. I did my bachelor's physiotherapy in 1998, and then in 2014 I finished my master's physiotherapy from Hong Kong Polytech University, and then I did my master's of yogic science yoga from Bangalore.
So that would, like, they would not look at those ones.
Those things, yeah, those things. So now I'm thinking about uh, uh, making credential evaluation from Alberta province. So that seems to be easy for me for the physiotherapy things. And then now my course is 3.5 years when I studied. But now the course in India is 4.5 years, and in Alberta it is 4 years. So maybe it's long time, so they may be asking me for doing the bridging course and things. I
Yeah,
don't know.
so
I do
if you
not know.
instead of that, if you go in for a student visa, otherwise also you would qualify.
Okay,
So look
so
at what is your bridging course, and
uh,
the same course you can enroll as student, and in your statement of purpose, you there would be a dual intent involved, but then you can always say that this is out of interest that I'm doing it.
okay, out of interest I'm doing it. Okay. Meanwhile, is it if I process that one and separate track, and then if is it possible I can apply for any 1 year diploma course,
Yeah. That
something
is
like
what I'm saying. It
Mhm.
would be good if you do that first, because
Okay.
1 year diploma courses, there would be some in sports,
Uh,
in your field, or there might be one which would be like advanced healthcare or advanced physiotherapy,
okay.
and there would be some for entrepreneurship, like
Uh,
physiotherapy entrepreneurship. That
okay.
might be useful with your long experience.
Uh,
Once you are there, you can, that bridging course and all you can do there.
Great. Okay, sir. One question is, my age is 47, and I did my latest master's degree is in 2014. So this 2014 to now, I didn't do any
That's
courses.
that's okay. Like, see,
That's
there is no 100% guarantee for a visa, which there never is. Like, but if you explain your profile
interest.
well and
Okay.
saying that this is exactly, the course should be a niche course. It
Okay.
should be saying that the age of 47, you can't say like you are starting afresh. You have to say it is either as an entrepreneur, or like you want to do your own business, or you want to open up your own physiotherapy
Okay.
multi-specialty center. And so we've been able to help people out who are mature students, 40
Okay.
plus, in that way.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
program has to be bang on. Like,
Uh,
you can't simply take any simple program. It should be at
okay.
postgraduate level and has to be perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah. Anyone else? Otherwise, I think we are in time now. And
I think, sir, all the students have already asked all the questions
okay.
which they have. And still, if anyone is having any query right now,
They
you can
can,
ask, or otherwise we will finish the session.
yeah, or you can send an email to Pankaj, and then I'll be able to answer that.
Sure. You can note down our number, which is on screen, or you can send the email on the email ID given on the screen, right? And our counselors are already in touch with you. So we will call you, we will connect you. And if you have any specific queries, we will connect you to Mr. Khurana also, if you require. Right? So, Mr. Khurana, thank you for this wonderful session, sir. And thank you
Yeah.
for answering all the questions of the students, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.